Welcome to the fucking show.
Yo, welcome back to the Zach and Cam Show, episode 23.
Hey, good people.
I couldn't remember last week what number we were on, but today is 23.
We're getting up there. We're doing a good job.
What's the deal with, like, beavers? Like
what do you mean?
Like, like, did they just, like, saw a river flowing, and they were like, no, absolutely not. This is not going to go down.
Beavers just,
And then
they're kind of like hornets in a way.
They just,
I don't know what their necessary use is.
I don't know what their use is either.
Other than causing blockage in the rivers.
From my understanding, that was like a good way for them to be able to catch fish, is they would make like a pond and then the fish would get stuck in there. But otherwise, like, it's just funny to think about. They just saw running water and they're like, nope, this ain't happening.
Yeah, we gotta fuck this up.
We're gonna go in there and do our thing.
Yep. That's my buddy, Tyler, he went fishing. They were fishing last summer. And he got caught up in one of those.
In
one of the jams,
Mm-hmm.
that they did the dams, but it was like one that was off of it, and his whole canoe his whole kayak got sucked underneath it.
Oh shit!
And the cooler was in there.
Oh no!
So they had popped, they had everything, and the cooler just opened up, and yeah.
They lost some men.
He almost died. He almost drowned out.
He got sucked under there. Yeah, I know a little thing or two about losing some pop.
Yeah.
Mine wasn't to the river, but to Old Man Winter.
You know, I haven't put anything in my freezer this winter. I did put some 6-pack of beer out there recently, and I came out one night to get one of them, and they were cans.
Yeah.
First time I'd opened it, I put it on the counter and walked away from it.
Yeah.
And I thought it was liquid. It sounded like just liquid in there. I walk away and I come back in and it's like foaming over, but there's like ice on the top.
Oh, so it just was like half and half.
Yeah.
Just a little bit got a little froze.
So yeah. So I went outside and grabbed them.
It snowed yesterday a tiny bit.
I think we're getting close to.
Next week it's Groundhog's Day, and then we're gonna know if there's spring coming or if we have more winter.
Does that really work though? Is that like a?
Hey, as a nation, as a country,
do we actually listen to that?
As a country, we like to see if the groundhog sees its shadow or not.
Boy,
that's one of the things we do as a country. I don't think we're the only country that does it, but it is televised on national TV.
I am gonna watch.
Groundhog.
I'm gonna watch Groundhog's Day.
You're gonna watch the movie, The Groundhog's Day.
Oh, I'm gonna have to. Yeah.
You're like, it's the only time I can
Bill
do
Murray,
it.
man.
It's on Groundhog's Day. This is the only day of the year I can watch this movie.
I don't ever watch it.
Yeah, it's been a while for me too.
We should just.
What?
We should just all get together and watch it.
Groundhog's Day on Groundhog's Day.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, like you said, I think we're pretty much through the thick of it.
Yeah, I think so.
We'll have some colder weather still, but I mean, I don't think we're getting any big snowstorms personally.
No, I mean,
it'll be about this for another month, and then it'll start
warming up. I mean, this is already t-shirt weather.
Yeah, it was. Once it gets into the 40s, then it feels pretty good.
Yeah,
and that's cold to a lot of people still, but compared to what we've been used to.
Not people in Hamilton. Well,
no.
Not people that are born here, from here. I mean, they're used to it, but.
I got a question for you.
What's up?
So you got a tranny, a gay man, and a lesbian. You got to fuck one, marry one, kill one. Go.
Okay, I think this interview is over.
All right, anyways. Not the way I thought that was going to go. Zach's like, I would... No,
I don't want to answer.
I'm not answering this question.
So, I was going to ask, do you think that Jimmy G should stay the 49ers quarterback?
I don't think he is the problem. I think
he's not the solution.
No, I think if they're going to keep a pocket quarterback, they need to have a playbook that is guided for a pocket quarterback.
Man, he's just...
If the coach wants to do the shit he's been doing, then Trey Lance is probably the guy.
Yeah, Trey Lance is definitely... I mean, he's not great.
So I don't think it's Jimmy G. I just think it's the play calling. I don't think the playbook, the play calls suit Jimmy G's style of play. I think he would benefit in, somewhere like back at the Patriots, maybe the Saints. He could benefit in Green Bay, I would think. I mean, I know Aaron Rodgers likes to run around back there a little bit, so maybe Green Bay might be the worst of the options.
Yeah, Green Bay, Aaron can improvise.
Right. But so maybe just the Saints.
Patriots, though.
I feel like.
But I wouldn't want him, though.
I feel like the Bucks. I'm like, if Tom Brady.
I like our guy.
If I was Jimmy G, I wouldn't want to follow Tom Brady around. But if Tom Brady retired, the Bucks might be a good spot for Jimmy G if they decide to go with Trey Lance instead. Just somewhere where the playbook is designed more for a pocket passer.
Yeah, and the Green Bay Packers, man, they really think Jordan Love is they think he's the answer, but I mean, the guy has never really played, so they're like...
Well, look what Patty Mahomes did. He didn't play his first year either.
Man, yeah.
And he didn't have near as good of a mentor quarterback when he was benched. Not benched, but when he was a rookie.
Well, but he had a pretty good one.
Who was it?
It was,
Who was on the... Who was on the Chiefs before? What's his name? He broke
Alex
his leg.
Smith.
Yeah. He nowhere near touches Aaron Rodgers.
No, but he was still good.
So,
the problem, we don't say he's nowhere near because he was really good, but he's always had injuries.
So, better mentor in Green Bay.
Yeah.
So, I don't think we can just say just because he hasn't played.
Okay, but would you rather have Alex Smith that you were going, I know if you didn't have Aaron, would you rather follow someone like Alex Smith or somebody like Tim Tebow?
What are we talking about?
I didn't want to say Cam Newton because I'm over at Cam Newton.
What are we? I would.
But you know what I'm saying?
I would pick Alex Smith to play on my football team.
No, I mean just to follow, as a backup.
Yeah.
You definitely want Alex Smith.
Right.
He's a good quarterback.
But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Aaron Rodgers and Alex Smith and Jordan Love and Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. I mean,
Jordan Love has a better mentor than Patrick Mahomes did, and Patrick Mahomes.
It all depends on how much
is good.
Aaron Rodgers is actually helping him.
Yeah, true. But
I doubt recently he's helped him a whole bunch.
I don't feel like we would ever know that, no matter what team it was. No. That's the side of football nobody sees at all ever. We don't know what the relationship is. The only way you would see that is if the Hard Knocks TV show did a series on Green Bay. They did it on the Colts this year.
I would like to see how much even Tom Brady. It's awesome to watch these guys.
You got to assume that they're together 6 days a week.
You think that they definitely talk
all day? They're practicing, and then they play together on Sundays for 3 hours.
Yeah. But
every other day of the week, they're practicing. They're together. You got to assume that
they're learning from them.
Right. Teaching each other things even though we don't see that side, you have to assume without a shadow of a doubt that is still happening, even though we don't see it, just because they're together.
True.
All the time. It's their job. It's it's their 9 to 5 is practice, and then they play on Sundays.
Another thing that everybody's complaining about now after the Bills Chiefs game is people think that overtime...
Okay, I was going to bring this up to you. Okay, I want to preface this by saying if the Bills had won the coin toss and received, would they have won the game?
They were both red hot.
Both defenses sucked ass.
Yeah, I think it would have just been up to either offense.
Whoever got the ball first was going to win.
Yeah.
With at least this game.
Yeah.
I know that's not every overtime game.
No defenses were stopping each other. It was...
So that's why...
I know people think that it should change. Do you think it should change?
I wouldn't be opposed to giving each team offensive drive no matter what. But
where do we stop when they both make a touchdown? Can't tie it. So you just keep going?
In the playoffs, you can't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
but every other game you could.
Well, no, okay, but I'm just talking, everybody's talking strictly playoffs. You can't do that. It's got to end eventually.
I would force teams to go for 2. Score a touchdown, you have to go for 2. You can't kick it. Or force the kicker to kick the ball from further back for the point after.
Yeah.
One of those 2 things. If they both tie, then both go again. Like the same way college. I feel like college is almost great. The only difference between college and NFL is college, they like start the ball in the red zone in their overtime. So I would still do the kickoff and make the team go the 80 yards they have to go. Force them to go for 2. Then the other team can go. And either you get the 2 points and tie it, or you don't get the 2 points and you lose.
So this is, I think, the first time I think we've disagreed.
And I wouldn't be also opposed to just like making the point after touchdown 20 yards back further and like put it all on the kicker almost. I mean, but then people might not like that idea either. The same way that like soccer has the goalies, you know, they do a kickoff or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know what the term is called.
Well, people didn't like when in the playoffs it just came down to a kick, so they changed it to a touchdown.
Right. So that that option would be out.
So I mean, I think that people are just, I mean, like a lot of people like, I think the rules are fine. I mean, you got to make a stop. Like,
yeah, that's fine. But in this case, it was whoever was going to get the ball first. Yeah. I mean,
can we 100% say Josh Allen would have made it to, like, well, they would have? I mean, who knows? But I mean, the way it was going,
I think you could assume so.
Yeah, they were both very, very good. Granted, I mean, I would say Josh Allen did better than Patrick Mahomes.
Granted, you know, you should have played better football, so it didn't go into overtime in the first place.
If both defenses would have done anything.
Yep. Because there was, I think, 3 lead changes in the last 3 minutes of the game.
Yeah, I would say coming from the first ranked defense in the whole entire game this season, the whole season, they should have been better defense.
Yep.
I don't know what the fuck happened. We already know the Chiefs' defense can be kind of rocky, but the Bills' defense is
pretty sound. Not that day. It wasn't.
Didn't make any sense to me.
So yeah.
So I don't know.
I wouldn't be opposed to it. I also would hate to have. I want ties to not even exist.
Well, yeah, I know ties suck.
If they're tied at the end of overtime, they should play a second overtime. That's how I feel.
I mean, a lot. Yeah, that one I could see.
It's the only sport that doesn't have a tie. NBA.
That does have a timing?
Yeah. NBA goes into double overtime. NHL goes into whatever. Soccer goes into whatever. Well, soccer they might tie. I don't know for sure.
Yeah,
But it's basically the only sport.
I could see that. I could see them. I could get behind that. I can get behind that. But I mean, they've already made changes for playoffs in overtime.
That overtime rule is how it is. It's not just a playoff.
I mean, yeah, but just overtime.
They've
already changed overtime rules. So
because before it was whoever scored first.
Yeah,
so it doesn't matter if it was a field goal.
So they've given it a chance. They've gave each team. I mean, they have gave teams a chance.
And then they moved it to if they scored a touchdown first.
So.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I could see. I can get behind the whole tie thing. I can get behind that.
Yeah, I think that's the way. It's like I said. It's one of the only sports that still has the tie as an option.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Of all major professional sports.
Yeah.
Crazy. But yeah, so that was one of the things I wanted to bring up too. I was going to ask you about that. Do you know who Sean Payton is? Does that ring any bells with you?
Sean Payton.
Yeah, he's a coach. Sean Payton.
For who?
I'm asking you if you know who he is.
No, who is he?
He's the Saints coach.
Oh, okay.
He retired.
This year? He just retired.
16 years he was the coach.
Oh shit! I know now. Okay, he retired.
He is stepping away and calling it a career. I don't know if he was 16 years with the Saints, but he was the Saints head coach for the last.
Wow, that's
So they are in now search of a new coach.
We might see the Saints being
not so great.
Not so great.
Even worse than they are.
Yep.
I mean, they got Kamara and Thomas. They don't have a quarterback. Jameis Winston.
He's just
a filler, I think.
Yeah.
You have those guys that are like just good enough to get the job done while you search for better options.
Here's the thing: we would be talking about that guy in a totally different light had he not thrown the same amount of interceptions that year, because he had 36 touchdowns or something like that.
I think it was 30. I think it was just 30.
Was it?
I think it was 30 and 30.
So if that guy would not have done that, that guy would have been talked about way differently. That guy would have been.
I'd like to know how many of those were like his fault, and how many of those were like, oh, it bounced off the hands, and
And either way, though, that's a lot of interceptions.
Because it's like there's nothing you can do if it bounces off a guy's face.
Even if he's had 30 touchdowns and 20 interceptions, it's still a lot.
No, I mean, anything more than, I would say 1 per game would be bad. So that would be 17.
That's okay. I was looking up.
Like 17 is not good. Like anything more than 12 probably is like not what you want.
So that's okay. I was looking this up.
That would be like the max I'd want for my quarterback is 12 in a season. What were you looking up? Walk us through it.
So we were like that, just talking about 1 interception per game.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking up for Jimmy Garoppolo last night. So he is throwing. So his last 4 games, he threw 6 interceptions. And then, so he's pretty much, it's 20, he's 20 and 12.
In the regular season.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, he's threw a lot
That's
of
like the
picks.
max. That's the max I would want.
Yeah. So,
I'd also want a lot more touchdowns than that. But they have a pretty decent run game.
So
sure.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. He throws a pick.
Every 2 games, pretty much. Well, a little more often.
A little more often than that. He throws about a pick.
It's not once.
He throws a pick every other game.
Pretty much.
Pretty close.
A little, like say, if you like statistically do it, it's a little more often than that, but no, it's not like 1 every game.
He hasn't thrown a pick in 7 games. Like that's the whole thing. He hadn't thrown a pick.
Right.
So, yep. I mean, but Jameis Winston though, that was rough.
Speaking of interceptions, and maybe you can shed some light on this now that it's been a couple days. That ball hit the fucking ground. We're talking about the Chiefs, not the Chiefs. We're talking about the Bengals and the Titans game.
See, but it all comes down to
there was an interception. The ball was on the ground. It touched the ground.
Yeah, but they're arguing that it touched the ground, but his hands. It was like when before it hit his hands and then it hit the turf.
I don't know about you, but any other time I've seen a replay of a catch, the biggest thing is, his hands have to be underneath the ball. If he's going down and the ball hits the ground, it's not a catch. How many times have you heard that line?
I mean, a lot, but
we're looking to see if his arm is in between the turf and the ball. That's what we're looking at here. And if he has control. I mean, that's what I hear about anytime I see reviews of catches. So the fact that ball flat out hit the fucking ground, there was no hand in between. Should not have been ruled a catch.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it didn't matter because the Bengals still won.
Yeah.
So it didn't
actually
change the game.
Do anything, but still.
It didn't change the result of the game.
But it could have.
The momentum got shifted a little bit, but Bengals still ended up winning. But that call should not have been should not have been called a catch.
So
what have people been saying about that? Am I the only one that has that opinion?
No, and I haven't seen. I usually look up stuff like from other. I look it up like Rich Eisen or the Rich Eisen show and like Pat McAfee. I haven't looked anything up about it yet, so I don't know what a lot of people are like podcasts are saying and
right.
But yeah, it's kind of bullshit.
I think so. It's the same thing.
They kind of pick and choose.
That was a bad call.
They kind of pick and choose what they. Yeah.
It's along the same lines as Tyreek Hill giving the peace sign.
Yeah, and that I did look up that, and everybody's like, that. I'm glad that they didn't. They just let it go, and it's like, okay, but that's great. I get that attitude, but
yeah, and
they haven't been letting things go.
Yeah, I'm fine with that too, except the fact that they don't just let it go. They just pick and choose when they're going to make a call and when they're not.
Yeah,
if you're not going to call it, then don't call it.
Yeah.
If you're going to call taunting, then call taunting.
If you're going to if you call something, you need to call it.
Especially
all season, the whole time. If you're going to be calling, they called the guy for taunting and looking at the sideline.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
So you got to keep if you're going to be stupid, just keep being stupid.
Especially on a taunting call that has already been called before in the past.
Yep.
This is not anything
calling
different.
It on him before.
The same thing has been called on him prior.
But they could say, "Oh, I didn't see it." Okay, well, you know what? This is where the refs. This is how I
hope that's
refs
not
are
what
outdated.
Saying. I hope that's not what people are saying.
What?
That they just didn't see it.
No, I know, but that's what a lot of people are saying. They could not have just seen it. Well, that's fine. Then look at the fucking review.
That being said, we also saw a couple offside penalties that did not get called.
Yeah, that was bullshit. Because they called it on the... Yeah.
The one I noticed wasn't quite as bad as the one that you noticed.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he still was offsides. It was a false start.
It happened a couple times and nobody called. But they called it on the other team, though.
And, I mean, so, I don't know. Are those just things we're picking up? Those guys definitely jumped off sides.
One of those plays could have resulted in...
it would have reversed.
Yeah, it would have reversed.
An interception.
Yeah, an interception.
Right? If it had been called.
Yep. So I just think it's bull. But
So I don't know. But at the end of the day, the Rams won. The Niners won. The Chiefs won. And the Bengals won.
You know, it just bums me out to see that Derrick Henry just didn't do so hot. But, I mean, then again, he just seemed...
Usually when there's like a ton of hype about someone, they never really live up to the hype.
But he always has.
So I'm not fully surprised.
I mean, yeah, he just came back, but man, he was acting kind of...
there was a guy down there that I dubbed Rhino Jr.
Yeah, he
was doing
good.
way better.
He was playing like Derrick Henry had been playing the whole season.
Deontay Foreman.
He's just not big enough to do what Derrick Henry.
He's not quite as big, but he, like I say, yeah, he's a little smaller, a little skinnier.
Oh, he's gonna have a career. I mean, I don't know how many years he's been in.
I don't know, but he was studding out.
He's gonna have. I mean, if this next year, he'll probably have a starting position somewhere else.
He was putting it out there.
Yeah, he's going to be noticed.
Weaving it out on the field. Yeah, Derrick Henry seemed to be letting up, not really leaning into tackles like he used to.
Yeah, he wasn't like going into it. He was like just going down.
Seemed like he was, I don't want to say tripping, but just falling over.
Yeah, well, you should have seen the when he did trip. I mean, you were in the bathroom, but he did you look at that play?
Mm-mm.
I'll have to look it up after. But he just straight up just ate shit. I mean,
out of nowhere, just tripped on.
The guy that was on him was not big enough to do anything. He was preparing for the big stiff arm like he normally does, and he just
tripped, stumbled.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm glad I wasn't the only one that noticed that, but it did seem like he was just kind of falling over instead of fighting for yards. Whereas Deontay Foreman was
going at it.
He was fighting for yards. He had that big 60-yard run or whatever. He stumble recovered and juked and stiff-armed and.
Well, you know what? We'll see what happens next year. I think Derrick Henry will be playing better next year.
Everything in between.
Yeah, we'll see.
Niners was a surprise.
Yeah, it's still...
That being said, the Packers had not won a playoff game against the Niners.
The Packers should have...
While Rodgers has been quarterback. So
the Packers should have bulldozed that fucking team. I mean, that team sucks. That team should not be in the playoffs. That team is fucking horrible.
Home field advantage. It was cold, so it's exactly what they're used to.
That's what Aaron Rodgers is used to.
And they could not, I don't know. Like I say, they were moving the ball, but they weren't getting in the end zone.
When everybody's saying, well, it's Aaron Rodgers' fault. He didn't play great. I'm like, okay, well, actually, he played pretty good. Fucking Jimmy didn't play good. You can say that.
Right.
Aaron did play pretty good. I mean, he didn't make some touchdowns, but he did play good.
Yeah, the Niners' offense was not doing anything.
No.
Like I said on the phone when we were talking before, the last drive that led up to the game-winning field goal was the best the offense played all game.
Yeah, Aaron. I mean, I don't know. I guess I didn't watch the game, so I'm just looking up all the things through. I watched some of the highlights, but it's weird.
Yeah,
it was a weird game. From on paper, it's just weird. From what I seen, the Packers should have won. I mean. Aaron threw about 300 yards. You think that they would have had a dub. I
don't know what happened. They just couldn't score.
Freaking weird.
Ultimately, you got to get scores to win the game.
And some of the people on the broadcasters, mm-hmm. They were calling Aaron pathetic. I don't think he's pathetic.
No.
I think he's super good. You know what team I think he would benefit at?
What did I say earlier? Earlier when we started this podcast, there was a couple of teams I thrown out. I think the Saints was one.
Shoot. I'm thinking about it. I had it in my mind today.
He is most likely going to be shipping off, right?
Was it him that liked the 49ers as a kid? Or was that Tom?
That was Tom.
I still think Aaron would be very good in like the Niners.
Do you maybe see a slip swap? I don't think you can do one for one. But maybe like Jimmy G and like a draft pick.
Yeah.
For
well,
Aaron.
It wouldn't just be him and a draft pick. It would be like 2 first-round picks and Jimmy.
Because I don't feel like Jimmy would do bad in Green Bay either.
Yeah, but are they? He wouldn't be a starter though. I don't. I honestly
think Jordan Love, it's his job regardless, no matter what.
Yeah, but I think they would give Jimmy, and Jimmy would be a backup to a Greeny.
Yeah.
Which then he wouldn't want to do that.
I just don't foresee him going to the Niners with them also having like Trey Lance too. I think they would first give Trey Lance a shot before.
Would they though?
I think so. I don't think you just draft a quarterback in the first round and not expect them to get a chance.
Yeah, but they did that with the Niners too.
What?
Oh, well, I guess that.
What?
They both starting quarterbacks. The Niners got
right. But I don't think they would just...
And the Green Bay got Jordan Love, and they're both... And Jordan Love's not playing.
But what I'm saying is I don't foresee... Like you're saying, Jordan Love's going to be the starter next year regardless of who they bring in.
Yeah.
I don't foresee a team just drafting a quarterback with their first round and not eventually using them as a starter.
I think... But I do still think Aaron would do good. He's got Jordan... He'd have Kittle.
Mm-hmm.
He would got...
He'd be going to a playoff team.
Yeah, he got what what's his name?
Debo Samuel.
Debo Samuel.
Kittle.
That's Debo Samuel's probably a top 5 wide receiver this year.
Is it really just those two guys?
I've got to look up their other wide receivers.
They got an okay running back, but
he's pretty good, yeah.
I don't think they have like a big star. Like Debo's been doing good this year. I don't know if he's always been kind of that way.
But I mean, it's a great team. The defense is good. So, I mean, I think he would do good. If Jimmy can do this good with that fucking team, and Jimmy's not doing a damn thing.
Yeah.
Then imagine if you had Aaron in there.
I think the biggest news this offseason is going to be Aaron Rodgers, and then
again.
And then as always, is Tom Brady going to retire or not?
Yeah, it's going to be the same thing.
Those are going to be the two headlines this year.
It really, dude. The Aaron thing was just crazy, and it's going to be happening.
Maybe Deshaun Watson will be sprinkled in there. It's pretty much going to be a repeat of last year. It's the same 3 headlines.
Yep.
Deshaun Watson, Aaron Rodgers, and Tom Brady.
Well, they have to because until it actually, but you know who would probably end up coming from Green Bay though for Aaron?
You think so? You think Devontae would?
He would
bounce?
So if you had Emmanuel Sanders, and you had Kittle and Devontae Adams. Dude, that fucking team would be fucking stacked.
I think you're reaching. I just don't think he'll go to San Francisco.
I'm just saying that's a playoff team that he could...
I honestly think the Saints would be more of an option than the 49ers.
I would not go with the Saints, not with a new coach, brand new coach.
New coach, yeah, it will be.
If it was the same coach, I would say so. That team's just in way too much of a rebuild stage. And he said already he doesn't want to do a rebuild.
What else would be contenders?
I mean, you know who Panthers?
They got to be worse off than the Saints, though.
They're not. I mean, they've got the players.
Christian McCaffrey, who plays half a season every year.
Yeah, it's true. I mean,
no tight end, but they have a couple of decent receivers.
Yeah,
the defense is fucking atrocious.
Maybe he would not. Something. Yeah. I mean, if I'm Christian McCaffrey, I go somewhere else, though.
If you were him?
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, that team just
sucks. For the wins?
For the wins. I mean, he's good enough to just go for the wins. If I'm him, I at least want to get a Super Bowl.
Jaguars are probably going with Lawrence again, right? I don't foresee him getting benched for no reason. I mean, there is a reason to bench him, but I don't foresee they will.
Man, Lawrence is horrible.
Jets always need a quarterback.
They're gonna if Lawrence doesn't play good for, I think it'll be like the Urban Meyer situation all over again. I think if he doesn't play good, I think halfway in the season they'll just bench his ass. I don't think he's going to get a full season again.
If he plays bad.
Yeah.
As bad as he did this year.
I mean, they should.
All those fumbles and interceptions.
They should get rid of him. I mean, they should get somebody else. But I don't think Aaron would even want to play there. I mean, there's not a lot of places. I mean, they've already got a really good running back there.
Yeah.
If I'm Robertson, I leave there.
I'm just trying to think of teams that need a quarterback. I mean, you have like the Texans and the Jets.
Broncos. Aaron likes the Broncos.
Yeah.
Aaron could go to the Broncos. But what do they have now?
A bunch of nobodies that managed to get the job done. I mean, they got rid of... They're pretty much in a rebuild stage, too.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. He doesn't want to go to a rebuild, so... Patriots.
But they love Mac Jones, and he's been doing great.
I love Mac Jones, too, but...
He did great.
He did.
You can't bench him because he did good.
He can't...
I mean, I know they got their ass smacked in the playoffs, but his regular season,
he was good. He
was the
was
best rookie.
Yeah,
of
he
the
did
class
a
so
good
far.
fucking job. Yeah, I don't know. I guess there's really not a lot of teams.
Seattle, or do you think they wouldn't get rid of Russell?
Well, I don't know. Is Russell staying? I mean, that's another thing. As I keep hearing, it's kind of the same thing about Aaron. It's like last year was Russell too. Remember?
Like he's not happy there.
He doesn't want to stay there. So I mean, is Russell going to be there? I don't know.
Lions are probably out. Like if we're sticking to teams that are good but don't have a quarterback, there's not many.
But are we saying that because they don't have a good quarterback, so we're not seeing their true potential?
Maybe, I don't know. But I feel like you would need to go to a team that needs a quarterback.
I think Lions could be good, though. I think with Aaron, they could. He's got Swift.
I mean,
they do got some wide receivers. Giants? I can see Giants. They do have some talent. They have a good running back. They do have some good wide receivers. I could see him doing Giants. Would he want to follow Eli? I don't know.
They didn't even do that good this year, though.
Yeah, but they didn't do good because...
But you think it's strictly because of the quarterback situation?
Daniel Jones just sucked.
Who else? I'm just going through the map. I mean, I definitely don't want him on the Vikings, and I'm happy with Kirk Cousins anyways. And we have a new coach and new general manager coming in this season, so I'm hoping for some good changes. We fired our coach.
Yeah, I could see Giants.
I'm still going to keep Saints in the options.
I don't see that.
Even if he
That's
doesn't
way
want
too
to.
much of a rebuild.
And then...
I'd already just said them. Oh, I think Giants, 49ers. Man, there's not a whole... That's... Because they got running backs, they've got wide receivers. One's got a really good... A top 10 tight end.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the only two that I could see that have a setup.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
It could be possible. I guess we'll just see.
I mean, the Broncos could have been a possibility, but not anymore. They don't have Von Miller at defense.
I think like 2 years ago could have been a good choice, but not anymore, yeah.
They don't have a lot of options in that team.
That's going to be the 3 headlines, though, the same ones as last season.
But they got Teddy Bridgewater at Broncos. I think Teddy's good.
Yeah, I mean,
Teddy. He could stop getting fucking injured.
Yeah.
It's like every time I see he's like finally out of a freaking concussion protocol, I look and watch, and it's like 5 minutes into a game, he's like jumping in. It's like triple, like he's fucking like getting hammered right in his head, and it's like, dude,
stop getting hit in the head.
But yeah, I just think Teddy. I like Bridgewater. I think he's a good quarterback, so they don't really need a quarterback there. So
no, they need a bunch of other things.
Yeah, they need to get for Teddy, they should start getting wide receivers and stuff. Teddy's a good enough quarterback.
Yep.
So there's really. Honestly, out of that whole list, the 49ers are the only team I could see.
Raiders?
Ooh, no.
You don't think
Derek Carr.
You don't think they'll get rid of Derek Carr?
Nope, Derek Carr did really well this year.
Let's see. I think that pretty much covers like the.
But if they didn't have Derek Carr, yeah, the Raiders and the 49ers I could see at most.
You don't think you would be like, all right, we're going to upgrade. We're going to do a big trade. Derek Carr's going somewhere. We're bringing Aaron in.
Well, they're not.
It's strictly business.
If it was Aaron, they're not going to get. Because, man, Derek Carr is very good. So they're not going to probably get him in a first round draft pick. Because he's like. You're not going to get first round draft picks in Derek Carr.
But maybe you get. Like a three team trade going on. Derek Carr goes somewhere for draft picks.
Oh, you're saying they do?
They in turn use the draft picks from Derek Carr to whatever team. Trade with the Packers.
I've always been a big fan of Derek Carr. I gotta say right now, and this is Mac Jones is my boy, but I've always liked Derek Carr, and you know that.
You like that curly headed fuck?
If we could get Derek Carr, I would fucking love that.
You'd be happy. Mac Jones did good.
He did, and I'm glad we have him, but I've always been a big fan of Derek Carr.
So I guess we'll see in 3-4 months, what happens?
There's gonna be a lot. I think this is gonna be this. There's gonna be a lot of moving around.
I just don't want.
But we think that.
I don't want news. I don't want speculation.
You
want
to see shit happen.
Right. Like, this is the same shit that happened last year. Like, hopefully he just gets dealed before the offseason starts, and it just won't even. It'll be done.
Man, there's just.
Then we'll be analyzing how he's going to do on the new team. But okay, so Rams or the 49ers? Who you got?
Rams.
Any specific reason why?
I like the Rams, and Matt Stafford is a beast.
And the Niners?
I just think the Niners don't deserve to be there.
At all.
To be honest with you, no. They suck.
But they also overcame adversity to get there in the first place.
They've overcame because the teams that they played just seem to go fucking brain stupid.
Do they deserve a little bit of respect? We talked about this last week. Do the teams think they're not a threat, so that's what ended up crumbling the Packers?
Because both teams with the Green Bay Packers, they were all like, what? It was like 10 points?
13-10 was the
13-10, yeah. So, no, they didn't do good. It's just, it's like
the defense stopped him from getting in the end zone. At least you can say that.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. It's like
they gave up some yards or whatever, but at the end of the day, they didn't give up any
I think
scores.
they're going to verse one of these teams, these good teams like the Rams or the...
Well, the Packers had a first-round bye.
Who are they playing? They're playing the Bengals next?
The Bengals and the Chiefs play.
The Bengals and the Chiefs, so they are playing the Rams.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the Rams are going to fucking bulldoze them.
You don't think they just think
the Rams have way too much of a good defense, and Jimmy loves to throw picks. Jimmy just likes to go up and hand the ball to people, which is what he should do, because that's what he does. And then the defense is just there's way too many weapons on offense for Matt Stafford.
I mean,
and that offensive line is just fucking beefy.
I don't foresee it being close.
No,
I'd be surprised.
Yeah. So,
but at the same time, they've gotten this far. Who fucking knows? I'm not gonna just count them out.
You can always wish upon a star, and that's what they did.
I want the Rams to win the whole thing.
Yeah.
But I just can't count the Niners out at this point. I do think they're a worse team. I said it last week though, and I was wrong. So at this point, I don't want any more surprises. I am really rooting for the Rams.
Yeah. And I don't even know why I hate them so much at this point. I just think that they suck. And they somehow have just made it to,
They squeaked by.
Yeah.
But you got to give the guys some respect. They made it.
And it does make the Green Bay Packers look really bad. It's kind of like the whole losing to the Jaguars. The whole, who was it that lost the Jaguars?
A couple different teams. No,
it was that... the Colts. It's kind of like the Colts-Jaguars. So the reason why the Colts didn't make the playoffs.
Well, yeah, because they couldn't beat the Jags.
Yeah, it's kind of that whole situation. It's the Green Bay could not beat the 49ers. Are you fucking serious?
I'm not hating on it either because I hate the Packers. It makes me happy in my heart.
It's just bad. It makes them look so bad.
Chiefs, Bengals, who you got?
Man, I don't know. I mean...
Chiefs have scored at least 32 points every single playoff game with Patrick Mahomes.
Joe Burrow, though, is hot. He's on fire.
And we said this about the Titans game, that it was going to come down to defense, right?
Yeah.
It was a defensive game for first half.
Yeah.
And then it started to warm up a little bit.
Well, it's because the defense kept stopping them, and then Titans just wouldn't do anything.
And then their defense would stop. Both sides had good defense.
Titans.
What?
How are we not talking about Titans?
We did
for Aaron.
Oh.
Tannehill's not Tannehill? I've listened to everybody, and there's a lot of talk going on that Tannehill is just not good enough to get it done.
Well, that's what we were saying too.
So, what about that? Holy crap. Could you imagine?
That could be an option.
He would definitely do that.
You want to do it now.
But he would. I mean, if the Titans show interest, I think he'd do it.
Not 2 years from now.
No.
You need this now is the time.
Now. He'd have Derrick Henry.
They're on their way down.
He'd have all three of them, if they can keep all of them.
A.J. Brown. Derrick Henry.
I mean, that would be
good enough.
The best landing spot for him.
Titans would be a good
Cannot believe I didn't even think about that team.
Kick Tannehill out.
Tannehill just is not good enough to do it.
Okay. I can go on board with that.
Yeah. Wow. There you go.
That would be perfect for Aaron.
Yeah, because Tannehill's like Jimmy. They're just not good enough to get it done.
That would be a great spot. If he wants to win, and he wants to win now,
that would be it.
That's the spot to go to. And he'd be in a different division, so you get to play the AFC side of it instead of the NFC.
So there you go.
Fuck. All right, back to
so I had
Chiefs Bengals.
Chiefs and Bengals. I would say.
Do you simply, when you play the Chiefs, you simply just go in with the mindset of you have to outscore the Chiefs, like offensively? You know that they're gonna score on you. You can't stop it.
Well, do you
just focus on?
We've seen it happen. The Bucs have done it before.
Do you just focus on just offense only? Score?
You focus on locking down. The best you can do is defense. Is lock down Kelsey and Tyreek Hill. You're going to leave that one guy open, their other wide receiver. You're going to leave him open. But, I mean, if he's the only one you leave open.
But it's also tough because we're talking about rushing a guy who can throw backwards with his eyes closed to a fucking pinpoint needle anywhere on the field. Somehow.
Yeah, I don't know.
The motherfucker could throw it like this, and it would go exactly where he wanted it to go on a fucking rope.
I don't know.
That's the hard part about, like, you can contain Patrick Mahomes, but he can throw it behind the fucking back and still hit his target. If he didn't have that uncanny ability to be able to throw it with his pinky toe.
See, if they rush him outside and have one come up the middle, would be the best way to do it. If they can rush him on the outside and not let him do his little running around. But
it's also, they just played, one of the better defenses in the league against the Bills.
They didn't play like that, either one of them.
And still scored 40 points.
I don't know.
So
we'll see what happens. I think
I would start off slow. I would take like the rushing and the blitzing in the second half. I'd kind of not want to tire my guys out too early.
I don't think the Bengals have a chance.
Just kind of pace them. And then if I was the Bengals coach, I'd be coming like second half. It'd be defense, blitzing, catch them off guard, do something like completely opposite of what you were doing. But if you did it right, your guys would have the energy levels to maintain it for the last two quarters. Because I feel like a lot of teams hold up with the Chiefs in the first half,
and then then
for some reason they get tired or whatever, and the Chiefs like play all four quarters.
See,
they get beat in the second.
I don't think the Bengals have a chance
at all.
No, I think the Rams definitely do. It's going to be the Rams and Chiefs. That Rams defense is fucking packed. Like, if there's a defense that has a chance, it's them.
You just kind of got me excited just now.
Yeah.
I got tingles.
I mean, you've got Vaughn, you've got Ramsey.
I'm kind of excited. I'm kind of rooting for the Bengals, but I almost don't think I'd hate a Chiefs-Rams. I think it'd be a great game.
That'd be a good game.
From an NFL like fan standpoint,
who's their other?
Just gave me fucking chills.
Who's the other lineman? Not Rams.
Aaron Donald.
Donald. They got Aaron Donald. They got Von Miller. They got Ramsey. They have another good cornerback other than Ramsey.
So
who came back in recently. I mean that defense is fuck. So I don't know.
I'd be excited for that.
So there you go.
I'm rooting for the Bengals simply from like a Cinderella story standpoint.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'd be upset with the Rams.
I just think that if you want to see like a good game, that would be it.
That would be a good one.
Yeah.
That'd be good
way to send the season off.
A good buffalo chicken dip and burger sliders and chicken wing type of game.
Yep. I would be so happy if I could see Maddie win a Super Bowl.
Oh, I'd love that. Definitely rooting for the Rams no matter what. But
I've been rooting for the Rams all season.
I think we said it many times.
Yep, I would like to see that fucking guy win it.
As time progressed, it became more and more apparent that they had the ability to do it.
And even when Stafford was having bad games, that they were still winning.
Yeah. Great team.
He's still great.
That's probably the team that deserves to be like they've played. They are good and they've played good so far. Like they have no reason. No one's gonna say they shouldn't be in it.
Oh no.
They've done their part.
No, they've done good. So no.
We just also haven't seen Maddie in that kind of pressure. Would he? I mean, so far so good.
But But this is his first time where it really, he's done
This is it. Yeah, exactly. So far, so good. First time in the playoffs.
I think a lot of people expected him to fold this last
wins,
game.
Right, because of lack of experience.
But in the playoffs...
At the end of the day, it's still football.
At the end of the day, he's still a veteran quarterback that's going to be in the Hall of Fame. So.
I don't feel like it matters if it's a playoff game or not. You're still playing football. And arguably, you're playing football against the same teams you've played football against
your whole entire career.
Like the Super Bowl is going to probably be a team you haven't played yet. But, he's played the Niners before.
The only difference is it's just the Super Bowl.
Season.
It's just the name. If you block out the name and just play,
it's just football.
It's just a game. So.
Whew. Okay, let's take it a step further. Bengals Chiefs final score. What's your guess?
I'm going to guess 35.
Okay. Chiefs, right?
Yep, 35-20.
I'm going to guess, I was going to say 35 for the Chiefs as well. And I'm going to guess 21. 21,
I'm actually giving...
You're giving them too much credit?
Well...
You think it's going to be more? I'm guessing 35-21. Chiefs win.
Man, Chiefs and Bengals.
Final score.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be. It's gonna be 35-20. I think. What about 49ers? Rams. My score is gonna be.
It's gonna be in a dome. It's in California.
Yep.
Oh, I don't think it's a dome, but it's gonna be in sunny California, 70-some degrees. So it's not gonna be cold. I think Rams are good. I think the Niners are going to come out hot and be like 14-0 started off. And then I think they're going to die out. And I think it's going to be 28-17. Rams win. But I'm guessing that the Niners are going to shock everybody and just come out swinging and then just die off at the end.
I think it's going to be
17-28. Is that what I said?
Yeah. I think it's going to be an absolute turkey shoot.
What do you think?
I think it's going to be a slaughter, honestly. I think the Rams are going to come in and halfway through their game, they're going to be like, well, should we just pack up and go? I think we've done what we need to do.
You think by the time halftime comes, it's going to be a shutout?
Yeah, I think they're going to be like, I wish we were playing a different team right now.
All right.
So
we'll see.
I think what's going to happen.
All right.
I think that's what I'm going to wish is what's going to happen.
That's fine. That's why we did it. Give us some numbers.
So there you go.
We'll see.
I would think it's gonna be a 30. I think it's gonna be over 30-point difference.
I wish I asked this last week before I wish we would have done the scores prediction because it would have been fun to see how wrong we were.
I think it's gonna be over a 30-point difference.
Rams Chiefs Super Bowl. That's what we're expecting. I originally had said Rams Bills, so my Bills lost because of an overtime mishap on a coin toss.
On a coin haul.
But so far,
nope.
Honestly, I sucked at my picks last week. I only got the Rams right.
It just doesn't make sense.
But still, I got one in there. I got one in the fight still.
It does show how much of a quarterback really does make a difference, though.
So, should Tom Brady win MVP? Or should Cooper Kupp?
I think Cooper Kupp should win it.
I kind of had an argument with the guys on Facebook about this.
What do you mean, why?
It didn't get heated or anything, but it was an NFL comment or NFL meme, and it was like, should Cooper Kupp win MVP? And of course you got, probably because I commented on it, so it popped up.
Yeah.
So then you got your guys saying no.
Look at the comments of it.
One guy was like, well, unfortunately, it sounded like he was kind of like on our side, but just arguing logic, and he wasn't. No one was being rude or nothing.
Yeah.
But he was like, unfortunately, it comes down to how the player impacts the team the most. And even though Cooper Kupp is the best receiver this year, it's not the same as having Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers man your team. And he's like, ultimately, it's just really a quarterback award anyways. And so then we all kind of went back and forth, and I was like, I don't know. If the Rams didn't have Cooper Kupp, would they even be in the playoffs right now? And he was, kind of saying, well, Matt Stafford's still a great quarterback, so even though they didn't have Cooper Kupp, they probably would be.
Can't say probably because he used Cooper Kupp every game.
But then I also
can't say that.
Then I also said
that doesn't make sense.
Cooper Kupp was literally the best, and he got the triple crown. He got the most catches, the most receiving yards.
He's the first. He's next to Jerry Rice, and
he had the second best career or second best season out of every receiver to ever do it.
Yeah. So no, that doesn't make sense.
So that's what I was like. That was my argument. I'm like, you say these, Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, like if they weren't on the team, would they still do it? So I just did the same thing. I'm like, if Cooper Kupp wasn't there, would they have still done it?
Yeah.
And most argued that if Tom Brady wasn't on the Bucs, they'd probably still make the playoffs. They have enough people around.
Oh yeah, they've got a whole.
They have enough people on the team that Tom Brady probably maybe
Didn't
they get
they almost make to the playoffs with?
I don't know. Anyways, and then. I don't know how the Packers did it because they just really got the two guys. So maybe Aaron Rodgers has a little bit better of an argument.
Yeah, he does because
him and Devontae Adams.
Well, they have some good wide receivers out there. I mean,
they got people that can catch the ball.
Talk about. I mean, but they do have some other ones. I haven't looked up stats.
Right.
The thing is, I don't watch their games. Huh?
They got Randall Cobb.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron's got some other wide receivers.
I mean, if you're a receiver in the NFL, you should be able to catch the ball.
Yeah.
That's your job.
Yeah.
So, of course, he's got guys that can catch the ball. That's their job. But it's not like Devontae Adams is the guy. That's the best name.
But I think Cooper Kupp impacted his team.
Robert Woods was also a good receiver, and I mean, he got injured, but even before that, it was still went to.
So what did it all end up? What happened?
I just stopped replying after.
Nobody cussed or anything? It wasn't.
No, we weren't. It wasn't rude at all. It was just he was trying to bring up an old team. He was trying to bring up the last time the Rams went, and he's like the Cooper Kupp was also on that team, and they had Jared Goff throwing. And I'm like, exactly.
Jared Goff sucks.
I'm like, Cooper Kupp had his best season at the time with Jared Goff at quarterback, and. Now he has a better season, but through his career, that was the time they went to the Super Bowl, and it was that 3-6 game or whatever it was. That was at the time Cooper Kupp's best season. He had 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns.
Still pretty good. That's
right. So I'm like, so he was kind of trying to bring in the past, and at first I wanted to be why are we talking about the fucking Rams from 4 years ago? We're talking about the MVP award this year.
Yeah.
And I kind of had it typed up, and I'm like, all right, I'm not going to be rude, so I deleted it. And I just said, yeah, exactly. Cooper Kupp was great then, too.
If you want to talk about quarterbacks, yeah. I mean, Cooper Kupp is a wide receiver. He needs a quarterback that can actually at least throw a fucking football. So, yeah, I mean, you could say that, but...
So, that was kind of the argument people were having was, if the person wasn't there, would they still make it this far?
So, I mean, yeah. I mean, you just need a you need somebody that can throw better than a middle schooler. To Cooper Kupp for him to actually do something.
Tom Brady did great.
Yep.
But the question is, would they still have made the playoffs or performed as well if Tom Brady wasn't quarterback? And maybe they win a few more games.
I just don't think they win a Super Bowl.
No, but we're talking about this season only.
This season only?
Because we're talking about the MVP award for this season.
Yeah,
Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Cooper Kupp. Those are the three guys that are probably in contention for.
Well, here's the thing: what team is still in it?
Right, and that's what I said too. But the MVP award is not based off the playoffs; it's a regular season award, so it doesn't.
Okay, well, that's fine. But I'm saying that Cooper Kupp performed so well through his season that he got his team to the playoffs and are still in it.
Yep.
So I would argue that has a lot to do with it.
I think for me, even though Tom Brady did the best in the quarterback categories, I think it's between Aaron Rodgers and Cooper Kupp.
And it pisses me off that Derrick Henry got hurt because we all know that probably would have been the MVP.
And it's a tough argument between those two and how much I hate Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
But he also, fuck. With the team that Aaron Rodgers has.
And he's still through
they did great.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I really don't know. It's so... We'll see. I mean, Cooper Kupp's going to get shafted, honestly.
If media has any type of influence on it, Cooper Kupp will win.
Oh, yeah. Everybody wants him to do it. I want him to win.
So if there's any influence on the decision, I don't even know who makes this fucking choice.
And then, you know what? And then after that, anybody that won MVP, you can ride off of that for 10 years, even if you suck at football for the last 5 years or 6 years of your career. You can ride off that shit.
No, that's only if you're black.
Oh, yeah, that's true. But still.
Anyways, all right, we won't talk about that.
Yeah. But, yeah, no, I mean, I think they're going to shaft him. I don't think he's going to get MVP.
It's unfortunate, but...
Because, like you say, it's a quarterback thing, but he should. He played...
amazing.
Yeah.
Statistically insane.
I mean...
second best season of a receiver in the history of receivers. The first best in, like, this era. Like, I mean, we're talking Jerry Rice was the last guy to have... he's, like, first place.
Yeah, there was one other wide receiver that, like, have...
It's 30 years ago we're fucking talking about.
Yeah. This is something we have not seen in a long time.
So, just based off of that alone, I mean, I hope there's real consideration for Cooper Kupp. But he probably will get shafted because it's a quarterback fucking award.
Yep. Whatever.
All right. Well, I don't have anything else to say.
I think that's it.
All right. We'll be back here next week. And we'll have a Super Bowl matchup.
All right, boys and ladies.
And trannies. And gays.
And everybody else.
And non-binaries.
Thank you for joining.
All right, peace out.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to the show.